Live.
We're going live, as if you would
Right.
save that amazing cat conversation for just us, when I could tell everyone.
All right, talk us through it.
Because
So
everyone's-
I asked you if you had a hairpiece in.
And I said, no, mate, I've got a banana clip in.
Yeah.
Because my cats play with all my hair bands. Because I did get. Oh, hello, hi, love.
Hey, Dale.
Hi.
You're live. You're live on Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Live around the world. Wow.
The kids are complaining that they're in lockdown within a lockdown.
Guess
Well-
what? I've had it all day. Lock them in the shed, as far as I'm concerned.
We will get to that because mine aren't here.
Oh, I hate you every fiber of my being.
Yeah, I'm
Can I
feeling pretty
Point
good.
out, I'm sure there's literally no one watching, but just in case anyone is, and I'll repeat it when Yvie joins us. But the reason, which is a whole other conversation, the reason that I look like I was being lit by bloody Ed Wood, it's so dark in here, is because my office is in our laundry.
I love that though.
If that is not a metaphor for working women in the 21st century, I don't know what is.
No, that's just part of how tricky you are. Also,
There's no
did you?
light.
Yeah, well,
There's no light.
we got to get you a light. Any light, get a fucking torch. But anyway, we just got our text, by the way. We just got our lockdown Victorian text.
I'm not subscribing. That's me crunching on ice from my gin. I don't subscribe to any notifications. So tell me live, what's going on?
Just the usual. This is our Victorian danger alert, whatever it is. We normally get it for bushfires, but it's just cover your nose and mouth with a tissue if you it's just the same. If you suspect you've got it, ring the number. Restricted activities, there's a website. Just the usual.
Ring the Corona hotline number. Yeah, but then what? I mean, like, oh my God, I'm really trying so hard. Now, no one's listened to this yet, but we had a chat with Raphael Epstein yesterday, and I keep thinking about it because I think on one level he's completely right that, you know, you have to try and stay positive and assume the best of people and all that kind of stuff. But I can't help, like, coming up against the reality of seeing, you know, queues of people arriving from overseas at the airport, for example.
I know, that's crazy, right? Yeah, just lining up.
I'm wiping down door handles. You know, I'm spraying letters that come into my letterbox. I'm spraying them with bloody eucalyptus.
Yeah.
But what's the point?
I'm cleaning money before I take it out to pay people with it because I don't want to, because I don't want to give them money with stuff on it. We do have listeners. Hello, Lauren, Robert, Steph, and Sasha, who've already sent us messages. Hello, everyone. You can message us somehow. I don't know. You know how. You can see from where you are. Anyway.
Neither of us have any idea what the fuck's going on here, let's be honest. But I reckon one of them is my mate Sasha in Tassie. And she has, I'm sure she won't mind me sharing, she has a chronic health condition that required her to be in lockdown for some time. And, you know, I hate to make either of us sound like Nobel Peace Prize winners, but how fucking good are we for live streaming so we can say, hi, Sasha.
Hi, Sasha. And my friend Steph, I know Steph, and Steph knows full well about my cat, Little Mary, named after my... Oh, shut up as I live and breathe. Steph, oi.
Oh, my God. That's
it's Little Mary. It's Little Mary. She's named after my mum.
Many things I'm very excited to talk to our guest, Yvie, about tonight is, aside from the fact that I just, you know, full disclosure, I just want to meet her. Like, I just really like her. Sure. And so I just thought.
She's desperate, so.
Why not? Why not? But to talk about, like, pets in the time of Corona.
Well, Little Mary, well before Corona, was escaping the garden and all of the things I put in place to keep her in the garden, expensive things that the other cats couldn't circumnavigate, Little Mary was. And eventually I got the garden netted. It's like a big budgie cage out there, babe. It's cray.
Do you know one of my favorite podcasting moments? So I used to do a podcast called Up Your Class with myself, Shane Lang, and Dave O'Neill, and we basically talked about.
I did it. Remember? Yeah.
Yes, of course, being people from working class backgrounds, because no one talks about class. Let's talk about class. Try and have fun with it. And one of my favorite things was one of our guests where we basically went, like, what's a working class marker? You know what I mean? Like, how do you know when you're meeting one of your own? And he's like, birds in a cage.
It was me, babe. I was there. It was me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I love it so much. We were talking about that, and we were talking also in my neighbourhood where I'm in the western suburbs of Melbourne, there's lots of pigeons. There's lots of Maltese families, and the dads love pigeons so much. Well, now it's the granddads. And now I know how to spot the difference between just like a flock of pigeons and racing pigeons out exercising. It's different.
Transferring messages?
No, bub. They just race. They're not working.
Oh,
they're racing. They're athletes. They're athletes.
But
no.
Where are they? Like, where are they? What do you mean they're racing? What? There's like the gun goes off? What the fuck?
They put them on trucks, I swear to God, in these little cages, and they drive them to like Townsville, and then they let them go and they time how long it takes them to fly home to their house.
And why?
For fun.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus. I mean, it shouldn't surprise me. It shouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But how do you get to 45 and not know that people do this for fun?
We had a neighbour called Bob who was really into it. So much so that he had a builder come and change the window in his bedroom so he could see his pigeons from his bed because he loved them so much. He wanted to be able to wake up in the morning and see his pigeons. And so he explained it to me. And when they were coming home, Bob and I would hang out our windows of our kitchens and we'd be looking and I'd go, Bob, look. And we'd be seeing them come. It was so great. So, yeah.
The love of the pigeon I get. Like, I get the love of the pigeon. Racing the little fuckers. Like, they're rats on wings.
No.
Racing them. Like, they're not greyhounds.
But that's pretty clever. I don't think a greyhound could find its way from Townsville to Melbourne. I don't reckon.
No. That's true.
It's pretty cool.
Skill. Is Bob admiring the skill?
Yeah, and not all of them do make it, by the way. Some of them aren't smart enough. Like he said, you know where a lot of them stop at primary schools because they get waylaid by the sangers. They like see them as they're flying.
Hang on, they see a Vegemite sanger and just think, I could go back to Bob in the Western or just chow down here for a bit.
Never
just
seen
speaking
again.
of neighbours, because I think we have a similar demographic, although in the northern suburbs, but, pretty similar. Put it this way, all of our neighbours, they're not going hungry.
No.
Like market gardens, they have got food for years. But one thing I noticed, none of them, after we've lived in the same house for 12 years, none of them know our name. They call Lachlan Alan, and me Nuli. And it's too late to correct them now. It's too late.
I like Nuli.
To it. So they know you're Michelle?
Oh, God, no. I don't think they can tell us apart, for one thing.
You and who? The kids?
Adrian. I don't think. No. Neither do they care. No.
I think girls care, but I think it's like one of those things. One of them, I mean, this is a bit sad, but it's sort of darkly funny as well. But it's sad and darkly funny. Yeah. So we'll just go with that. But when we moved in, so that one of the neighbours speaks little to no English and was not born in Australia. And the irony of this just kills me. I used to do a great bit about it, which I'm not going to, project. But the first thing he said to us was, I'm so glad you moved in like a good Australian family. Yeah,
we couldn't stand a wog. That'd be awful.
No Chinese. I'm just like, you are the Chinese of the previous generation.
Wow. Well, I have a friend, who was it, who said to me recently that his Chinese neighbour said, we don't want any Chinese.
Jesus H, the layers. Getting back to topic, Kevin, what's Kev been up to at your joint?
Oh God.
Are you still homeschooling?
Yeah. It finished today. Thank God. I don't know what was worse, no school or homeschool. Homeschool's so hard. I mean, their school is so great and they do everything, and yet it's this constant, Mom, I can't get on the Zoom. Mom.
Yeah. And how many Compass notifications have you had today?
Oh my God. I don't know. As if I look, I don't know.
No, you got to look, because every time you get a Compass notification, you do a shot. That's the new thing.
I don't know. I've had a very busy day of course, Kevin did break the washing machine by overloading it not long ago. And so, but today I bit the bullet and I had a stranger into my home to clean it, which made me so anxious.
Yes.
But he was wonderful. I was so worried. I was saying to Adrian, what if he's one of these guys, he goes, oh, I reckon the government's overreacting, and comes in here and like touches everything. And he was awesome. He came in with gloves. He was fully into the social distancing. He was wonderful, wonderful man. And he fixed it. But he did say to me, mate, you've just overloaded it and you almost blew it up. So just take it easy.
Just take it a little bit easy on that front. So how many kilo? How many kilo is your machine?
It's 7.5 kilo.
7.5, and you've got 2 kids and your mum and 2 adults.
Mum's got her own washing machine, but I just
still easy to overload. I mean, you put a few sheets in there, some towels. Yes. If you're anything like me, you're washing like a motherfucker at the moment.
Right. I always am. I'm impatient, just shove it in there, try and shut that door.
And did you know, who knew? I didn't know this until I did the same thing with ours.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had to clean them.
What?
Yeah. You meant to like some filter. I know with a dryer, but you meant to clean a dryer for the lint and whatever.
Yes.
But you meant to clean, the washing machine's got like some sort of thing.
No, I did find the filter. Yeah. And all the water comes out, that thing?
Yes.
Yes, I did find that. Yes, I did that. That didn't help.
So what did the dude do?
I kicked it a lot.
Yeah. Did you turn it off and back on?
Did that heaps. Swore at it heaps. Kicked it heaps. Nah.
So, what are you drinking?
Gin.
Excellent. Cheers. Cheers, Biggie.
Chin chin.
Well, Jesus Christ, just go easy. Just do 2 loads, mate.
Oh, fuck off. Back to where you came from. What about you? What's been going on at your place?
Oh, Kev, he dropped a clanger, a real clanger, like possibly the worst thing Kev's done to date. I mean, he breathes too loud, like he's still doing all of that stuff. It's like, hang on, I just sat down to watch the MKR Grand Final and you've come in here with an apple?
Oh, you fucking asshole.
I mean, Jesus Christ. I've got 1 hour a night. 1 hour a night of peace, and you're going to come in here with a fucking pink lady.
Oh.
So he's got a very stern talking to. He's probably on his 3rd warning, I'd say. But the worst thing Kev did was he lost Lachlan, my partner. He lost his phone. And
yes.
Locke works at a important educational institution. Like everybody else, it's a shit show. Like, it's fine, but it's also a shit show. Everyone's freaking out. There's a lot to do. He's one of the directors. So kind of important to be available on the phone.
Yeah.
But, Kev, the thing with Kev, when he gets a bit stressed, he kind of, as we all do, he makes some mistakes. So he might have put it in his pant pocket, thinking he was doing the right thing, thinking, I'll ride to the place that I have to go instead of public transport or social distancing. It seems it might have fallen out of the pocket.
Does he not have any Find My Phone carry on?
Oh, he tried. And it actually told him, which kind of enraged Kevin. I hadn't seen Kev enraged for a while. That Find Your Phone man, I think his name's Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Gary said, Kev, sweet Kev, your phone's at Woolworths. And Kev went, I haven't been to Woolworths for days.
Oh, wow.
But maybe that's the last place the satellite clocked it. I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah, the phone's gone to baby Jesus and never to be seen again.
Wow. My sister and I tracked her phone to someone else's house once with Find My Phone.
And what did you do? Did you front up?
You bet.
Did you?
You bet, baby.
This is you saying to me the other day, don't get into a scrap if someone's been to the checkout chick. You fronted up to a phone thief's house.
We did. We drove. She had my phone in her hand. We were following the blue dot. I was driving. And then as we got to the house, I said, wow, what are we doing? and then my blood was up, and she's my little sister too. So I was like, oh, now I got to do it because she's my baby sister. She's only like 43, and so I had to front up, and I said, no, I'm going to go and get your phone, mate. You stay there. I'm going to get your phone.
Can I just imagine? And I have no idea, but I'm imagining a very thin 20-something, maybe 30-something-year-old guy who's either flogged the phone or found it and not return it. And then Michelle Laurie from the TV and radio knocks on the door going, you've got my sister's fucking phone. Come on, mate.
It was actually so much better than that. It was, because, again, it's my neighbourhood. So it was like a pair of 80-year-old Maltese people who couldn't speak English, who was so happy to see us. They were like, and she was calling and going, yay, it's the people about the phone.
Oh, fantastic.
It was so beautiful. And eventually we got around, they were trying to get their grandson to come over to help them find us. It was very beautiful. It was very beautiful. Yes, it was very beautiful.
I think a couple of things out of that, I'm really reaching, but, just on the pretense that we're talking about coronavirus. One is that I reckon you do, which everyone is mental at the moment. You make a lot more mistakes than usual. Kev.
Yes.
A lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And just accidentally knocking things over or losing things or break.
Yeah.
That's a whole other layer of stress. But I also notice on one, most of the groups I don't get involved in, the autism groups and stuff, because I find them a bit stressful. But there's two that I really like, one in particular. And someone posted the other day where they were basically saying, lots of relatives who haven't really ever helped us are now getting in touch because they're in need. And isn't that an interesting thing that it wouldn't, even though I'm in that situation in a way, wouldn't have even occurred to me. One of those unexpected sort of side effects of coronavirus is you go, if you've been a carer, or a person with a disability or somehow sort of going through a version of this already, sometimes for some people for years, it must be incredibly confronting to suddenly see, messages popping up on your phone going, should we all stay in touch?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should. That would be an excellent idea that I've suggested 78 times already and then given up.
Hey, guys, we are family. We should really stick together.
Lonely. No shit, Sherlock.
That's hilarious. Hey, Yvie's here.
Yvie!
You ready? Let me get her. Hang on. Let me answer the Yvie line. Hi, Yvie.
Hi. Yvie! Oh, hello. Hello,
What's your
Cheers.
Cheers.
What are you drinking?
I'm on the gin.
G&T.
I'm drinking wine.
Now, I have to apologise, Yvie. I've already explained this, but the reason I look like I'm in a fucking cave is because my office is in our laundry.
Oh,
so,
is there no lights?
There's no lights. And that is a metaphor for the 21st century woman. So I'm just owning it. I'm owning it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got to use your phone. Use your phone. I heard a great story that guy from Entourage, I have to say the Asian guy because I've never seen the show, so I don't know how else to describe him. I'm so sorry, Yvie.
I love him. But
okay,
the one you're talking about.
Well, somebody I know saw him somewhere, and the people were getting selfies with him, and he was wonderful. But he has this great thing where he lights himself underneath with his own phone light.
It's very smart.
Isn't that fabulous?
It's very gay, and I'm here for it all.
He mentions nothing. He says nothing. He just
light.
Yeah.
No, I would do that and this sounds like a joke, but it is actually #fact. I don't know how to turn the light on the phone.
Mate.
And I don't be there.
It's on that bit. Look,
do your I've got a torch.
Get your kids.
Oh, you know what? I've got shit. Hang on. I'm trying another phone now.
No, don't get your kids, you're right.
Does that work? Look.
Oh look.
Yeah.
That was so cute. Geez, your teeth are white.
Yeah, no, I just put a fake tan on.
I
think I may have over tanned because I call it isolation overload.
It's beautiful.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I know.
And it makes
beautiful.
my teeth look really white because they're actually not at all. I mean,
It's
white, but
they're not like done.
yeah, I'm not Kardashianing the shit out of my. I had my teeth whitened like maybe 15 years ago, and I have never felt more. I mean, I have. Gout was worse, but I never had. Gout's the worst. It was like a bloody knife going through my big toe.
Yeah.
But they make you put these things in. They get your teeth molds done, and then they send you home with syringes of bleach. So you just put them in, and it's 10 nights for an hour every night. I couldn't get through 5. Number one, my teeth were like blinding people. Number two, every time I put them in, I would just drool all over everything because I was in so much pain. I was going straight into the nerves of my teeth. Like, I was like, I would much rather have yellow English teeth than.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean it's a funny one though. Now it seems to me it's tipped over. Where now when I see someone, and your teeth are beautiful, you've got beautiful teeth, bless you.
Yeah.
But when I see someone with those like really, really American teeth now, it's kind of I'm like startled.
There's a particular dentist. I won't say who they are because I don't want to give them too much I don't want to give them any promotion, but they do all the reality people's
right
teeth.
Yes.
And everyone has the same exact teeth.
But
it's
it looks
bizarre.
It looks weird. It doesn't make
kind of like Children of the Corn to me.
Fabulous.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look. I don't look at it and go, "Oh, you're a picture of health." I go, "Oh shit!" I'm recoiling.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got
like a bot.
I just don't even notice though. I don't notice anymore because they all just look the same, and I go, "Yeah, right. That's the look." And they've all got the same lip, and they've all got the same. That's fine. Yeah.
I just got my lips done. My top lip. Done.
Done.
I get mine done too, bub. Don't worry. Yeah, I love it.
Well, I got it done, and I looked like I had sausages on my mouth. It was the funniest thing. I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. So I'm what do you call it? I'm documenting the whole thing for Instagram and the whole thing.
Right.
I'm going, thank you for being so honest about but within 2 days they were back to this. I was like,
yes. You know my problem, Yvie. I get them done because I don't want my nana's jowls. And obviously I must sleep on that side because this one always just goes first. Yeah. It's like 2 weeks and it's like
I haven't done it just the once. So how long does it last?
Everywhere else it kind of lasts longer, but this one, man.
And when you say you get them done, I say this with no judgment, even though I'm clearly the better feminist of the three. What does that mean? Are we talking stuff?
I get injectables, and it hurt. That's the only thing that hurts me. I don't know.
It really hurt, and I had a local.
I don't know.
Some shit.
I'm shit. A photo, Nelly, and of my mouth. And show you just how ridiculous my face looked. I stupidly went out for dinner that night, and it comes on by about 9 p.m. It's extra swollen because of the needles that have been going in and everything.
Right.
And my friend's like, I can't look at you. Like, And then she goes at one point, "You've got food up here." It was just sitting.
Oh, Jesus. I know you
I
two will not judge me for this, but you know, of course, last year I obsessively watched Maths, the one with Tracy, who'd clearly gone a little bit, bless her. I'm not trying to shame her.
The whole time.
The thing I noticed, did you see someone, they had a surgeon on who said the reason she's constantly doing this
no.
This is so up that's meant to be wet.
Oh, no.
It was dry.
How uncomfortable.
And it's dry, so you constantly
A lot of them do it.
And that,
Exactly
but, you know,
exactly that.
That comes down to your doctor, I think, don't you think, Yvie? Like, I've got a really good doctor, Dr. Taz, by the way, in Port Melbourne.
I went to Dr. Taz because
I love Dr. Taz.
Here. I live in Port Melbourne.
And honestly, he just won't. If I said, and I have sometimes said, let's go again.
Come on.
And he has said, and he won't, you know?
Like, that's a good doctor.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of doctors out there and they are not doing that.
No.
Don't take it. All right. Oh, darling.
Before?
Yeah.
And now
it just went
beautiful.
down.
Yeah.
After is totally.
All I actually wanted to get rid of was my smoker's lines.
Yes.
Smoker's lines.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I get rid of them? And they said, you put filler in. I was like, I'm doing it then.
Yeah.
And the filler went and smoker's lines were back within a couple of days. I was like,
how much is it?
I think it's like $350.
Oh, shit. You want 2 months out of that at least.
Yeah. Well, they told me it would last 18 months. I'm like,
it depends. Do you still smoke?
When I'm really drunk, but no.
See, it depends what you do. That's what I mean. It's because I sleep on that side. It depends. Yeah. It'll last longer if you don't do whatever it is that moves it around. Yeah.
I've got to stop sucking cock and then maybe it will get. I wish.
No, that's not
so dicks to suck.
That is not so. Now, first question, because I can see someone coming and going. Who's
that's Tash.
Who's in your household?
Tash is stuck here. And she's from New Zealand and she's a photographer. So she's been working on, she's a resident in Australia, but she goes home. She's got this beautiful house in Pigeon. Have you ever heard of Pigeon in New Zealand?
I have. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
It is so beautiful. And she lives there with her partner and they have a dog and everything. And it's wonderful. Because she's a photographer, she does TV stills. So she used to just be Channel 7's photographer. And now she's like freelances mostly for like Endemol and stuff. But she was doing Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
I love that show.
So that just got shut down,
and
so she's kind of like, I don't know whether to go or to stay, because if she goes, she's got to go into quarantine there and then she can't come back, and we're thinking, how long is the work going to dry up for? And if it comes back, is she going to be able to come back and get work? Because it's all here that she gets the work. So
is she your flatmate?
Well, she used to be my flatmate in Sydney. We used to be Tom's disability caring flatmates, with Tom in the middle, and there was me and Angie, and then when Angie left, I had another friend move in after a divorce, and then when she moved out, bought another place, I had Tash move in. So it's that kind of wonderful situation where you can, so we knew already what it's like to live with each other and have contractual work, so you're home a lot of the time and then you're not at home a lot, and like all of a sudden. So we're doing really well together.
So you're
sending my shopping. I'm glad she's here, because every day I go, I'm just going to go to the shops, and she's like, no, you're not.
Oh, you're like my mother. It's like living with my mum.
Michelle. So you just go, I really need an eyebrow pencil, which is Nana Laurie's big consternation. What do you want to go to the shops for? Is it because I'm guessing you're an extrovert? You want the peeps?
No, I hate being in public now. Like now that I'm a bit recognisable. I don't like it at all. I don't mind it, but I don't embrace it the way. I think I'm a much bigger introvert than anyone ever. Like I think when you look at the meanings of both of those words, I am an introvert because I get so much from myself. I'm fine to live alone. Yes. I can be alone for a really long time and I can entertain myself for hours on end. But when I go out, I just love, because I have an eating disorder and I have a binge eating disorder, which is mostly under control. It's starting to go crazy. Like, and poor Talash has just had to start seeing, as the news happens, all of a sudden I'm just there by the kitchen sink, just eating like this. And she goes, stop eating. I can't, this is my heroin. Like, this is what I do. Like, I couldn't get enough in my mouth, you know, that kind of thing. So for me, grocery shopping is my big addiction. Like, I don't buy much, but I just go, and for some reason those aisles give me some kind of
like a dopamine
of calm. Which they're not at the moment, of course.
I'm the same with a full fridge. With a full fridge, even if it's stuff that I don't want to eat. Yeah. Like, it's just the idea, you know, when you see on various shows, especially on the reality shows, if they're not in their own house, and they open the fridge and there's like a thing of soy milk and a lettuce, and I'm like, I start to have heart palpitations.
It's hard to look at,
with something. Please. It's stressful.
That's the only thing I hate about Sex and the City. Is that you open the fridge, there's nothing in it. I was like, oh, no wonder you're so skinny.
So, Yvie, are you scared about that? About like the sort of ongoing, endless nature of this coronavirus drama? Are you scared about how that's going to affect your binge eating disorder or your health? Yeah,
absolutely. Like, I'm already feeling really sedentary, and you know, finding myself just going back and forth to the kitchen to shove more food in my face, and then trying to be really calm about it, and then try to get outside, because that's what really helps, getting out with fresh air and get the dogs out and everything. But you know, you can't talk to anyone. So I'm really good at being handling my anxiety, apart from that one action.
Oh no, I'm 100%.
But I'm worried about the money, to be honest.
Oh yeah, we all are. We all are. Yeah.
I've signed on for Centrelink, so I don't know when that's going to come through. I've talked to my real estate. I've talked to my banks about my personal loans and everything. I've put everything in place that I can, and I've waiting for some kind of an income. But what I'm honestly more worried about than anything is that I won't have that white first world privilege to just eat and buy whatever I want, like the bread I like, and you know that I'm gonna it's just so first world and so awful, and I have to keep checking myself about it. So
at the same time, I'm going to call you on that as well, because I think, and I do the same thing, and Michelle and I have talked about this as well, in terms of course there's people worse off, but guess what, there always is. Like, that doesn't actually mean that your anxiety is not real. It doesn't mean your eating disorder is not real. It doesn't mean, like, you know, I put a post out this week. I was actually really distressed to see that everyone making fun of that little girl who was upset that Nando's had closed and McDonald's had closed and everything. Because I'm like, you know what, for her, that's real.
Yeah.
That is real. Like, you can, like, talk about her being a spoiled brat all you want. Like, that is projecting her anxiety and her fear onto, I can't have a burger.
Yeah.
Yes. When that's the world she lives in, that's the world she's used to. And that is a cruel thing to take away, and all of a sudden then make light of it without her being in on the joke.
Yeah, and the difference is that you're talking about it so honestly. I think for a lot of other people, they're raging about other things and throwing tantrums about other things, because they probably don't have the guts to actually be upfront and say, I'm angry because my life has changed and I don't know when it's going to change back. Yeah, and it's stressful and it's painful and scary.
Well, and I know who I am, and I know what my go-to points are. Can I share with both of you, because I know we've all had eating stuff. One of my favourite things, and I wish I could remember the name of the poet. There was this beautiful African-American poet who's this, you know, big mama, lesbian poet in the States, and she wrote this beautiful piece, and the gist of it was basically talking about overeating and pain, and the connection with, you know, childhood trauma, sexual abuse, anxiety, mental health, whole range of things. And she basically said, when you see that big butch bitch walking down the street, you think at least she's trying to nourish herself. And that has always stayed with me. Because I ate a tin of carnation fucking milk the other night, doll. Like, I've already told Michelle that. I sat there with a tin of milk, just, dada. And I could even
You know the one that
shame
you
with that.
squeeze?
Oh my God. If I had the squeeze, don't even. So I can sit in shame with that, or I think to myself, you know what? This big butch bitch is trying to nourish herself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, God, that's so spot on. Exactly. And that's the thing, is that once you understand what eating disorders are all about, and that it's just your drug, it is just your addiction, and it's just your way of numbing, like any other drug, or not even a drug, shopping, sex, whatever it is that happens to work, that you have gotten onto, that you can really deal with it a whole lot better, because you're really acknowledging it and saying you're just doing what you can. I mean, I have such an amazing therapist who, NLP therapy is all about having it's about two people in the room. It's you and the child, you as a child.
Yeah.
So, and I've tried so much therapy, but it was NLP that really got me, because I got to start acknowledging my child and saying, oh honey, I'm so sorry these things happened to you, and no wonder you used to go home from school and do this, and when that happened afterwards, the first thing you do is get yourself a can of baked beans and have until you couldn't keep close your mouth properly anymore, that kind of thing. And when you have a self-soothing for a person that's real, and and there is no one better to soothe that person than you as an adult, that has made a huge difference for me. And when I recommend that kind of therapy to anyone that really addressed that child, that really broken, damaged child that went through all of that.
Everyone's inner child coming out now. Like, I love everything but the girl line, where they say the heart remains a child, and myself included, and so many people around me, like even the really, really smart, really educated together kind of people, are just behaving like children.
Yeah.
And even if you have children, my daughter is 10, and she's started kind of shaming her younger self sometimes. If for whatever reason I'll bring up a memory from when she was little, and she'll go, oh, that was stupid, or, But we have this beautiful cousin Edie, that's her cousin, who's just the most stunning baby, who we adore. And I'll say to her, would you ever say that to Edie? Would you ever say that about Edie? She says, oh my God, no. And I say, well, then how could you ever treat baby Darlie like that? Like, how could you be so? And it really gets her, because it's like, how could you ever be that cruel to Edie? You would never.
I'm going to use, that's a little nugget I'm going to take.
It is really good. My friends and I, well, Angie and I, we say it all the time, because she came into Sex and the City a lot later, obviously. She's 17 years younger than me. So watching it with her was amazing, because I'm watching it all again. I'd seen it a million times, but watching her watch it for the first time. And there's this one, I think, Miranda or Charlotte are having a go at themselves, and Carrie says, hey, that's my best friend you're talking about. Angie and I use that to each other all the time, like, hey, and I think there's so much in that. Like, would you speak about your best friend the way you speak about yourself?
Oh, and having a daughter who is my mirror image was like incredibly healing for me. And I guess that's where really I got it, was that seeing my inner child. There she was, because she was my baby, and it's like, how could I ever hate my body again? How could I? Because that would be hating hers,
well, that's it. I remember on Oprah they said about there was a child specialist on, and said you should never, as parents, ever talk about the other parent in a detrimental way to the child, because you are talking in the negative way about that child. It's 50% of it is made up from that person, so they take that personally. You're attacking me personally.
Oh, absolutely. And
one
of the big things I've learned, you might not know this, Yvie, but one of my kids is autistic. And one of the most powerful things that I ever heard was from an older woman that I know who's on the spectrum, who said, if you're embarrassed or ashamed of autism, you're embarrassed and ashamed of her.
Yeah.
That's right.
And like that, the penny drop when you go, they're not separate things.
No, that's right.
Right? So, and it's the same, it doesn't matter whatever it is, the thing that doesn't fit into whatever society says. It's the same with fat. It's whatever it is. It's like you're that's how you're shaping how they will see themselves if that's how you see that.
And actually, Yvie, the other day we were talking, Nellie and I won't retell the whole story, but we were talking about this time I was in Cambodia and this tuk-tuk driver had such a laugh with me as I was climbing into a tuk-tuk and it was groaning right as I was getting into it. It wasn't even his. And he just yelled out at me. He was like, "Ooh." He said, "Are you 70 or 80 kilos?" He loved it. He loved it so much. And I said to him, "Maybe 100." And he was like, "Woo!" And it was just making him so happy. Like I could see that he wasn't taking the piss at all. He loved it. He just couldn't believe it. And he wasn't
because they can't they don't get to eat the way we do.
But also, I mean, they're tiny. I mean, they're like 5.5 feet tall. Like he couldn't get to my weight if his life depended on it.
Yeah.
Right?
I couldn't get to 70 kilos if my weight depended on it.
So,
I'm like 70 kilos. That's not even my goal.
Yeah, I know, right?
Jesus Christ.
You know that whole BMI thing with your height, and it's like, oh my God, if I was the weight I'm supposed to be, because I'm really short, I would be dead pretty much.
Right. Exactly.
You know what, Michelle? When I was in Jakarta, I was stuck over there for 3 days, like on a layover, and I thought I'm just going to go shopping, and so I went to a few shops, and all the lovely ladies, the tiny little Indonesians, Javanese, were like, "Oh, there's nothing here for you. You fat." And I'm like, I am fat. And they're like, nothing. You got belly like Buddha. Nothing.
Yeah, right.
And there's nothing offensive about it. They just were like, and then I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to go accessories. And if nothing else, I'll get shoes, because shoes are easy, right? I'm a size 9.5 to a 10. And every shoe shop I went, they're like, "Oh, you got feet like boats. They're like boats." I'm like, I'm out.
So now you're down to Yvie, which is basically me shopping in Asia.
Yeah. It's all.
That's it.
Even my children, they kiss my children. They go, "Oh, he's so fat! Oh, he's so fat!" And they call people from other shops. They can't believe it. "Oh, God, he's so fat!
Look at her! Look at her!"
Yeah, I love it.
And
but then I have the opposite.
No,
you just are who you are. Yeah,
totally. My partner is very tall and thin, and so we have the opposite thing of being. I was saying to Michelle the other day, if we're in Asia, we've had a couple of times men pull him aside. He's just one of those people who can fucking eat anything, and it's really infuriating. And stays 70 kilo, and is very tall. And he's had a couple of times men pull him aside and go, "Why do you feed her? Are you kidding? You must be a very rich man. You feed her." No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a compliment. Hey,
yeah, absolutely. And there was the age where if you were fat, you were extremely wealthy. That meant wealth.
Of course. And you know what? Internationally, it actually still does. There is no obesity crisis in Albania. No. Like we got to remember that. It's like, this is just in our minds, and this is which is not to diminish our eating disorders, but it's like at the same time, it's not everything. It's not. No.
And you know what? No one ever got healthy from shame.
No.
It doesn't matter what the issue is.
I did an interview with ABC Radio in Kalgoorlie in Boulder.
That's where I'm from.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I went for our International Women's Day event. They invited me over as the guest speaker, and it was just the most amazing weekend. Like they were just all so lovely. I got to see my first skimpy. I'd never even heard of what a skimpy was.
Topless waitress.
Yep, topless waitresses. And while I was there, Radio National said, "Well, will you do an interview with us?" And oh fuck, I just forgot completely.
It doesn't matter
about being fat.
The skimpies are in my head.
But it was something to do with being fat. because I can tell you while you read, like collecting your thoughts, this is the other element of it in because I come from a little town not far from there. And, you know, coming from sort of working class Western Australia, same in Queensland, I notice, you know what, I'm tiny.
I was going to ask that. Are there any skinny, are there any fat skimpies? Because oftentimes I see women, particularly when you're in Asia, you know, when you're in Bali or whatever, you see European women topless at the beach and you think it is such a state of mind. It really is, right?
Totally.
It is.
And
it's
all
like in Greece, the Greek islands, like all the women in their bikinis with their G-strings on, and they've just got these huge bodies, and they're stunning.
Yeah.
Anastasia and Faye.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she gets in a bikini when she goes to Greece.
Yeah. And I so aspire to that. I so aspire to that state. But, you know, one of my uncles, so I've got a lot of, my mum's from a family of 12. My dad's got 9 brothers. So, you know, this massive family, hardcore bogans, bless them. And one of my uncles, he'll just constantly say, oh, you don't want to, it'd be like reading what do you call that? It'd be like reading a bag of golf clubs. You know? He sees anyone thin. It's like, no, more cushion, better pushing.
Absolutely.
That's really gross, but I'm going to throw that away.
Yeah, every guy that I've ever known that like says the difference between like the bone, the bruising that happens from bone girls. I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. Yeah, you won't be getting any of that from me. Nothing but comfortability.
And let's acknowledge the women who say, you know what, it's not like, imagine walking down the street and having strangers saying, eat a burger. Why don't you eat something? Don't you get cold? You know, it's like we can't win. We cannot. Someone's always got an opinion on a woman's body, you know.
My brother's wife, my sister-in-law, is extremely thin, and when she is in stress, she loses a lot of weight. So she become emaciated, and she cops it like nothing else. And people think, oh, they don't feel sorry for her. And her and I talk all the time because it's so similar, the same things that we get from the public. It's okay to say, oh, you're so skinny. Yeah. But to say, oh, you're so fat, you know, not allowed to say that. But she feels awful every time someone says it. Did you see when Lizzo was just here?
Yeah.
Oh, Lizzo.
She did a really good video of her bum, just her bum shaking. And I think it was on the front cover of Time, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was everywhere.
Said, it's the more you see something, the more used to it you get.
You're so right.
The more you see my fat ass, the more used to it you're going to get.
But did you also see that mole, whose name I can't remember, one of the fat shamers from The Biggest Loser in America, say, oh, yeah, it won't be so funny when she gets, you know, diabetes.
Yeah. I was just thinking about her last night in the diabetes thing. And how I love Lizzo's reaction to that. Like, she was.
So how did she react? Because I didn't know. I don't know.
Thanks for your concern, but you don't have to think about me ever or ask anything about me. And if you want to go with me, dance off with me, come bring it. Because she can dance, and all of her backup. She only has backup dancers that are bigger, and she's like, if you can dance, you can be my backup dancer. And she wants to prove that that haze thing, you know, health at every size. Like you can be really fit, and you can have, like, there's a girl on High School Musical. She's still really quite famous dancer, and she was big in every single one of the movies of the franchise. And she's done TV shows. She can dance like a motherfucker, and she is never.
I know you've got a better chance remembering than me. I'm struggling to remember her name, but there was a woman who won the American version of Dancing with the Stars probably 3 or 4 years ago, who may have been in High School Musical.
Anyway, that was her. That was her.
Right. And she had, from the very beginning, and you know, in that really passive aggressive way where they always have the bitchy judge who's basically, like, he just basically kept saying, well, it'll be fine until she can't keep up. It'll be fine until she can't do the jive. It'll be fine until blah, blah, blah. Guess what, fuckhead? It was fine.
And she won.
She won, and she was amazeballs.
Yeah, she is. Like, you just watch High School Musicals, and you just, I mean, are your kids into High School Musical yet? Or is that
not yet.
done?
Not
No.
yet.
Geez, they are some easy movies to watch as far as parent. Like I used to nanny, so I used to have to watch kids movies all the time, and you know how hard it is to watch kids TV. But you come across some really brilliant movies like Up and stuff like that, or Lion King, and you just have to watch it over and over. You're like, I'm okay with watching this a million times. High School Musical to me was really, I mean, it was cheese, but God, it was talented.
Oh no, I love cheese.
It was incredible.
I love.
She was a real standout.
So what are you watching in lockdown?
I'm just about to start that Tiger King.
Yes, I just started today. Yes.
Tell me about
what
it.
do you think?
It's fun.
Okay.
I put it off because I was like, I don't like shows about animal cruelty. Like I put off, don't fuck with cats. I was like, no, it's not. No,
What's
it's not.
What's the premise of the show?
Isn't it?
It's about how Americans keep exotic animals, and in this case, it's big cats, and it's about these like zoos or places where they rescue circus animals and stuff. And I'm only up to like episode 2, so they're the warring zoos, and so look, it's not. The animals aren't treated particularly well. However, most of them are rescued from worse situations, and apparently it's amazing. It sucked me in. It's the characters are incredible.
Because it gets quite intricate with the characters. The storylines of the people are apparently what keeps you going. My friend Tash, she listened to the podcast, the whole thing when that was on, and she said she doesn't want to watch it because she in her head has so much vision, images of exactly what they look like. It's like, remember when you listen to S-Town, the podcast? You listen to his voice, and I'm like, I don't ever want to see what he looks like because I know what he looks like. And if I see someone that I don't know, I'm like, well, no, that's not him.
And then you can't match the face to the. In fact, I just watched that terrible show, the dating where they date in pods. So they it's called Love is Blind.
I haven't watched that yet.
So they they literally date about 30 people each, and they have women in pods and then men in pods, and they're not allowed to see each other. And the idea is that, you therefore have to talk. So you're not, I guess they don't say this, but you're not distracted by rooting within 20 minutes.
Well, that's what it's going to be like now during the isolation.
Right.
You see that meme where it said guys are going to have to go back to, the old-fashioned courtship. And then at the end, it was like, you're going to have to think of things to say. Write me a fucking poem, Brad.
Come on, Brad.
Brad and Karen always cop it. Karen the boomer.
I know.
Well, we have another version of that. Michelle and I have someone, he works a lot at my place, but he works a lot at Michelle's place as well, called Kevin. And we decided we need a common enemy for like living in close proximity to people that we love, but who, fuck everything up constantly. So rather than be angry at them,
so you blame Kevin?
Does a lot of shit wrong. So I think Kevin's been to your place a few times. What's he done at your joint?
Mine?
Yeah.
Do you know my nephew does this? He has a Kevin. Every time something goes wrong, he goes, Kevin, do it.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
It's so weird that you have Kevins as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, you know what? I think I got a fake noise complaint made against me when I first moved in here. I've only been here for 8 months. But because I foster dogs and everything. And
me too. I foster cats.
I know. I follow you. I don't see you nearly enough. I used to live for all your Instagram stuff, and then you just went so silent on Instagram, and I was missing. I remember when Louis was doing your feet with a fork, and I just thought it was the funniest thing.
He still gets ridiculous.
The realest thing I've ever. That's how I used to be with my mum. I just sit pick her.
Well, don't look. Everyone, calm down, because I've been on Instagram for 3 weeks, so it's okay. But I think people were mean to Michelle, weren't they? That's what happened.
Yeah.
Were they? Who?
Kevin.
People. Kevin. About tens of thousands of Kevins after the election. But don't forget that.
We get it.
Doing,
So is Kevin leaving? Has he left your soy milk out to rot? I mean, or you're not at that stage?
No, Kevin keeps fucking my gas burners up. I've had people around to look at my gas burners, and they just go tick, tick, tick. and it works. And I'm
Oh.
like, no. And then
Yeah.
they leave. And then I go, tick, 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 tick,
And nothing.
nothing. I was like, why, Kevin?
Bad.
Right? Because Kevin doesn't want you to sneak a secret durry over the gas burner.
When you're drinking and stressed.
True.
Yeah.
I'm so glad both my neighbours are smokers, so when I'm really drunk and I get out there, I'm like, I feel
Are you in apartments?
I'm in a townhouse.
Great. So they could piff you a durry when you need one.
You're just out on the balcony. Help me.
Turns out my neighbour right next door, we have a house that, you know, those mirrored houses. So the two townhouses, they were obviously built from one block and they knocked that down, built two houses. Well, they're my landlords, the Greeks next door, and they're quite lovely. I thought they had it in for me in the beginning because, you know, I get this noise complaint and I'm like, I don't really, my dogs, they don't bark, like, you know. And it's funny because, you know, people who don't do dogs, they just go, yeah, everyone that owns a dog thinks their dog doesn't bark. I'm like, no, my dog's really, like, I know. And I have dog cameras. I have cameras around my house and with motion things. So I know, because I can talk to them if I'm out. And I can hear, like, if Sissy starts going, I can go, Sissy.
Wow.
And I go, stop barking. Stop barking.
That's fabulous.
Are you allowed to do that with kids?
Yeah.
I want to do that.
It's great. If you have a cleaner, you just, the first time you have the cleaner over, you go, so this is everything, blah, blah, blah. There's the cameras. They'll be watching you all the time. You've never had your house cleaned better.
Brother, you are. Can I just side note, since we're on dogs, what are your views on Caesar Milan? Sweet Caesar.
I love Caesar.
I do too. Why did everyone hate him?
I love everything about him, the way he talks, the way he says, don't do this.
Oh, my God.
Calm, submissive dog is what you want, the calm, submissive.
Calm, submissive Caesar is what I want. I'll give you the tip.
Talk about fake teeth. I remember the right in the beginning teeth, and now the teeth, like halfway through.
Blinding.
Couple of seasons in. Boing!
Well, because he's always hanging out. He's always hanging out with actors. He can't, you know, he's sitting there with Jennifer Garner and he's like, fuck, what about my teeth? He's just embarrassed. He has to, you know, go and get his teeth done. Yeah. Hey, we should say hello. We've got to say hello to Gabzilla. She says, I'm loving this. I've been in the middle of a paddock working alone all week. She's just been stuck alone. Hi, Gab. Hi, Gab.
What have you been in a paddock working on?
Oh, God. Well, good question.
In Kalgoorlie.
Yeah.
You know,
that's in the middle of nowhere, Nelly. I've never seen red dirt before. I was very excited.
It's a long way from Tipperary, doll. It's a very, very long way.
I went to a tavern where everyone writes graffiti all over the whole place. It was exciting.
And did you go down the famous street?
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. You went and had a go?
Oh, with the sheds.
All the
sheds. And
I have a lot of friends who work the sheds.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of the
People
old
go to
brothels are now backpackers. So
yes.
You know, but it's so funny. My favourite part about Kalgoorlie was when they told me while we were on the street with all the brothels on it, how you can't in Australia have a brothel and a police station on the same street, and they are on the same street. So what they did was halfway down the street, they cut the street in half and called it something else. I was at Australia.
Great.
Thank you. That's what we do.
That is ingenious. So that's Hay
Although
Street,
Italy,
isn't it?
Italy and Greece would do that better than us. Though that sounds very Italian. It's like, well, we just changed the name.
Totally.
I have a friend who was a transgender woman, and she was working the sheds in Kalgoorlie as a sex worker. And word got this is a long. Hey.
Because they're trans.
Well, no, they didn't. Nobody knew. This is like in the 70s or 80s. So she had was post-op, but word got around town. A rumor got around town, and so the men started saying, "I'm going to find out." And so what happened though was the other women got together and they swapped rooms with her to protect her.
Oh,
and so, yeah. So nobody found out, and it was all good.
That's what women, I find, you you get men that say, oh, women are the worst to each other. And I'm like,
yeah.
Have you ever been drunk at 12 o'clock at night in a pub, in a toilet, with
in the toilet,
strange women you've never met before? Well,
with a bodysuit.
What goes on? Yeah.
With a bodysuit that you can't do up again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever had blood on your white pants?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a simple, great lip line that they don't know.
Yeah.
Where did you get? And well, you get it. You have it.
Yeah.
I'll put it on for you.
Yeah,
It's like,
totally.
fuck off. We love each other. When there's no
Yeah.
men around, we don't have nothing to compete for.
Yeah.
We will stand by each other like nothing else.
But I reckon especially women who are under siege, and
Yeah.
to some degree women on Hay Street, Kalgoorlie, work in the sheds, know that they're under siege to some degree. I mean, it could be different now, but certainly in my day, that Kalgoorlie was 70% men.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
in
50% now.
it's 50,
They told me
okay.
while I was there, 50% because of the female miners.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes. a
still,
couple of them
they were
might
telling
be-
me the skimpies have to change every 6 months though, because the men that are there that see the skimpies every day, they get sick of seeing the same one, so they have to get fired, and new ones have to get hired.
Oh, Kev.
Oh, that's amazing.
Kev.
What? I'm sick of the same pair of tits, so bring me in some fresh ones. What? It's not KFC. Jesus.
And when
Fancy,
we're not talking chicken breasts. We're talking.
I know. And Fancy got
breasts.
got sick of seeing the same drunk fuckhead every Friday night. Like,
Oh, and imagine if we could
That'd be
fire
awful.
them.
mm,
Be able to get. Can we get new drunk fucks, please? Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
Thank
right.
you very much.
That's right. Could we please? Oh my
I
God.
went into the local Wizard pharmacy, and
Right.
the girls all there recognized me, so they were all like, "Oh my God, what you?" And I had just gotten my period. What's the word? Like, it wasn't due, so I didn't have anything with me, and I've started going to perimenopause, so I've started for maybe the last 6 or 7 periods having the worst loss of blood that I've always had really normal menstruation, and all of a sudden I'm like, the fuck. I got a doctor when I first moved to Melbourne, and he's saying to me, I said, I think I might be going into perimenopause, and he goes, well, tell me why. And I said, my periods are just different. He goes, well, can you be a bit more like detailed or anything? And I went, well, I went to fart the other day when I woke up, and I swear to God, it looked like a crime scene in my bed. He goes, okay, you're good with your words. That's good to know. And you know what? The next time I went back to him, he goes, now you're the one, he was reading his notes. Now you're the one that was saying you've got perimenopause. Now remind me.
Oh, he
I
didn't.
said, crime scene in the bed. He goes, oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
he
And I
didn't.
said, look, I'm losing so much blood. I'm like a halal lamb. And he went, yeah, I'm really getting it. I said, I've never bled like this before. So unbeknownst to me, there's an entire medicine that you can take.
Really?
And it's for hemophilia.
available.
It stops the flow by 50, like any flow from wherever it's coming, by 50%. I was like, I'm not going through another bad period. I got my period in Kalgoorlie, rang my GP and went, can you get a script? Because I don't have anything. Can you get it?
It's halal time, Doc. I need
Do you know what I love about that story as well is that, so I did about more than a decade of sex ed comedy shows with teenagers, right? And you can imagine, you both know, having been teenage girls, that the most common fear is basically if I go and have a pap smear, for example, or I go and get an STI test, or all the things that you encourage sexually active people to do, that I'll have a weird vag. And you're like, do you know how irrelevant your vag is to that doctor? Like, even 5 a day, he or she is not going to remember yours, let alone 50, let alone 100. We're talking about thousands.
Can I tell you something, though? My friend had a labiaplasty because she was so paranoid about it. Yeah. Like, just, everything. And men would comment on it.
Oh,
and so she was like, I've got to do something about this. I think all of her friends were like, don't, but she wanted to do it. Go ahead. Every right to do whatever you want. You know what the surgeon said to her when she woke up? First thing he said to her, oh, it was a real mess down there, but I fixed it up.
Oh,
so now
God.
she has this perfect labia, but with that memory that it's not really hers. Like that, there's just this.
And you know what? This is well, I've got two intelligent women who are honest. This is where I honestly really personally struggle, because I am absolutely live and let live. If you want to get a boob job or you want to get to get your flaps trimmed, like do it. But on the other hand, I go, hang on, there is a bigger system here that is so fucking sick.
Yeah.
That would make anyone feel that they had to do that. Like, that is so extreme.
Surely this is porn related too, right? Surely this is porn related.
Absolutely.
That now we've all seen so many labias that we all have an opinion on what is meant to be a labia. I remember a long time ago when I went to get Botox when I was in my 30s, very, very young, and this female doctor said to me, hey, you see that bit inside your eye there, just in there? See how it goes in there? Yeah. She goes, I could fix that for you.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, they're creating it.
I didn't know that. I've never even noticed that.
Check and had the same thing. Like, I've never had anything. Who knows if I ever would, but I haven't at this point. I went to get skin check, and the dermatology nurse said to me, you know, we could fix your droop, we could do it. And I said, I'm actually here to get a skin cancer check. And she's like,
my God.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you could, but I'm here to get a skin cancer check.
Came out with a whole new face.
The whole cosmetic surgery industry. Yeah, the whole cosmetic industry is about convincing us that something is a problem so they can fix it.
Well, that's marketing, isn't it?
Of course. But this whole labia thing, that is that to me just feels really perverse, in that it's so personal and that's so shaming, and I just want to cry for this woman, you know?
From, like, I don't know if this is a generational thing, because my thing is, and again, I always go back to TV references, as you know, but I remember there was some dickhead on Big Brother years ago, an Australian Big Brother. Long story short, he basically said there was a woman on there who had, like, the landing strip. She didn't have the full wax. And he pretty much went, I could never have sex with that. And I remember sitting around with girlfriends at the time going, I have never in my entire life encountered a man who has been a straight man, who's been offered a vagina and gone, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Is this a generation who's gone, look, I would love to.
There is a whole new generation of that. The last guy I slept with was younger than me, and he said to me it was a deal breaker to have hair.
What?
And I haven't shaved down there I can't even tell you the last time I ever had, because every time I did, I would just get ingrowns, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm not lying and paying for laser when I don't care. Like, I think it's there for a reason. I actually don't mind. I used to argue with my girlfriend, say, the bush will come back. And they go, it will never come back. I'm like, everything comes back. Believe me.
70s bush will come back.
Everything. He said to me, no, it's a deal. You know, I really struggled internally with it. Like, you know, I'm a 47-year-old independent woman. I can, you know, tell him to go forget. And then I was like, well, yeah, but I wouldn't mind getting some. So I went there. I kind of did what I had to do. And then I realized I don't want to be with him. So the next time we were just supposed to have dinner. And he was wanting it to go further. And I said to him, you know how I told him that we couldn't have sex? I actually said to him, I've let it all grow back. And he went, oh. See? Wow. So I was like, I even made it it was all for you.
I just find that, I mean, it's one
still
thing.
Made it easy for the man.
A preference is one thing.
Yeah.
You kind of go, you know, I'm actually into this, whatever the reason is. But a deal breaker. Like, I find that, like, really quite fun. I mean, Freud would have a field day.
Yeah. Well, I said, if you don't like pubic hair, shave your pubic hair off.
So do we take balls?
You don't like it. You don't believe in abortions? Don't have one, darling.
I don't like
what to do with my body, but
that would be great.
I can't believe how much it went, like, just the programming came back of pleasing the man.
Yeah. And I'm guessing if you were programmed, you know, the same as anyone else of our generation, we were all programmed to think already that there's something wrong with the vagina.
Yeah, absolutely.
So straight away that triggers, consciously or not, oh, maybe there is something gross.
And the amount of fat that women are allowed to have on their bodies, really, it is all fashion. It's just fashion. If we think back to the first Playboys and penthouses that we saw surreptitiously when somebody found them in their dad's garage, I mean, it was all bush, and that was what was fashion at the time. And we know that, right? And it's all fashion. That's what's so stupid about it. It's like, if anyone who says it's a deal breaker or whatever, who's obsessed with it, it's like, well, you're just as much a slave to fashion as any girl who wore a rah-rah skirt in 1986 or anyone who was wearing, right?
Love that skirt.
Except that there are much bigger consequences. I think that's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, but it is just fashion, there is nothing more to it. There is nothing wrong with bucking it.
No.
Well, my friends have got teenage boys, and they're watching these beautiful feminists who they've brought up going into the toxic masculine world, and they're watching them navigate it, and just how hard it is for them to watch them as they harden, and what they have to do to get into this world and somehow fit in.
To try and fit in.
To just day by day, be what you are. But she said that she had to have a really big conversation, one of my friends, really big conversation with her son, because she works in an RSL, and her youngest workers there are both 18, a male and a female. So they're both 18, and she's spoken to them. She speaks to all of the workers in great detail because, they work behind a bar, and there's just so much, every detail is being talked about and blah, 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 blah. So this young 18-year-old girl said to her that she'd hooked up with a guy at the Stay in Manly, and he did the sexy choke on her, and my friend said, wait, what are you talking? What's this sexy choke? What's that? And she says, it's when they choke you, and it's really sexy. It turns you on. And she said, do you want that? And she goes, no, I didn't. I couldn't breathe. Like, it was just, but that's what guys really, really want. Anyway, she went.
And this is something she didn't know too.
Yeah, when the 18-year-old boy was listening or something, he came in and he said, no, hang on. He goes, it's not what we want. He goes, that's what you girls want. Like, that's what in the porn you're always going, choke me. So my friend's watching these two 18-year-old babies the girl going, I don't want to be choked, and him going, well, I don't fucking want to choke a girl. Like, who wants to do that? But they're both partaking in it with other. Can you imagine how many young adults are doing these things that they're just from the point, like shaving every inch of hair from their body and doing these things that are just so like having.
And that's not consent. It's not consent.
Well, it's not pleasurable either.
But we know as like adults, it's hard enough to have these conversations when you're so much older with people about what you really want and ask them what they really want. Yeah. At 18, you're trying so hard to just create this idea that what is pleasurable for people, and it's really hard to just say, what do you want? And this is what I want, This idea that, I know what women want. They want to be choked. It's like, oh God.
But the thing is, young girls don't stand up
when you see that behavior too.
And that porn, and we have to teach our kids that porn isn't a manual. Porn is not a sex manual.
That's what my friend had to go to her son and say, whatever you're seeing, this is not real. This is not what young women want. My friend who used to work in in the French Alps. He worked there from, I think, the age of 17, and all the young French boys, he goes, I didn't know this was a thing. He said, but when you're young and French, you try to sleep with older women because they will teach you everything you need to know. And the older women, they all were like, I'll sleep with the younger men because they need to learn. It's this whole French thing that we don't know what's going on, but it works so well. The older women are teaching the young men because they have absolutely no self-conscious that you have as a young woman. And and he said he slept with a French older woman like in her 40s when he was 17. Wow. And he started to do what he, thought was, and she was like, oh my this is what oh my God, I'll tell you everything you have. And he was just like, oh my God. And he said every lover after that was just like, damn.
Yeah.
What women
Yeah.
like. He was like, French older women they have sex with younger men. Or
Well,
the
this
women. It's a
is actually Pornhub is not reality. Speaking of Pornhub, can you imagine how much that shit is going off during Corona quarantine?
In fact,
they've changed the rules, right? They've like made the premium free or something. Is that right?
They've taken the membership fees away.
Oh God! I mean, you have to laugh. It's also, as my youngest would say, disturbing.
But you know what? But look, I'll watch Pornhub with my husband, but I will say to him, "Oh God, this is so boring. If I see another cock sucked, I swear to God, I'll scream. Fuck, this is so boring to me. Like this is so masculine.
So
it's like,
I can't believe how it's so masculine. It's so male oriented.
Yeah, like I can say that. Yeah.
I had to learn through friends saying to me, "Oh, you have to always type in amateur before whatever you want. Type in amateur. As soon as you go amateur, you're getting people having real orgasms. You're getting people with real bodies.
So
nothing is set up.
means real couples, as
couples have forwarded their videos in, and they are real. Like there's no camera angles, there's no pretending, there's no having it's real, and it's so much better.
And Robert, who's watching us, Robert says we have to watch RedTube. Robert says it's by far.
Thank you, Robert.
RedTube's very good.
Thank you, Robert.
RedTube.
I'll take it, Robert.
One called For Her. I think HerTube or something.
Okay.
Her porn or.
Okay. Oh God, I thought you said Hurt Tube.
No, Her.
Jesus Christ.
If that's what you're into now, then you know.
No,
I said you. Whatever gets you off.
Are you currently single, beautiful Yvie?
Yep.
And so will you date during this? Let's say we're locked down for 6 months. What's going on?
I don't date when we're not in isolation. So I don't know unless they're coming in to fix something. Unless Kevin's coming over, there is no dating.
I did have my washing machine repaired by a lovely man today who wore gloves and was very sensitive to the social distancing. So the dating wouldn't be great, but it was lovely. I mean, would you do cyber sex?
I have done only phone sex, and I've never done that before until the last guy that I was seeing, because he was the younger guy. He was right into it, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then once I kind of went, I don't fucking care. Just go for it. It was like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever.
Yeah, great.
This is really freeing. Like I had no idea how good this was.
Oh,
so it was the cyber thing. You can get yourself and take a photo of your boobs 80 times
and get the best one
and send that as if you the first one you've ever done.
Hey, and Nelly,
what I don't see is the hand under here. The camera's here.
Holding it up.
It's like, perky boobs.
You have to get one of those Insta sticks, wouldn't you? Get yourself some good, angles.
I got even a better tip from someone that said the best way to send a nude to someone is to take a video of yourself.
Right.
And then take stills when you like what you see.
Yes.
See, my devices, and I don't know how to undo this. My devices are synced to my 12-year-old's iPad. So that's not gonna. I could not even bear to risk it.
My nephew.
Is this with strangers or with people you don't know particularly well?
I'm going to say both.
Yeah. Both. How do you navigate that they have an image of you on their phone that they could do the wrong thing with?
Don't show your face. Never show your face. Right. They don't show theirs. You don't show yours. That's
just
the difference. You can't prove anything then.
Full bush. Yeah. This is what you're getting.
Yeah. My poor nephew, the one who came up with Kevin, his computer was linked to the cloud in the family, and oh my God.
See, that would
and
be
I'm
me.
over there one night, and my niece goes, "Oh my God, you're never going to believe what we saw on that came up in our," because things just save in the photo reel.
Yep.
She goes,
"Oh my God,
it's like into chicks with pepperoni nipples. I was like, that's all right, I have tits like that. Maybe it's a good thing. But I thought I'll really fuck him up because I sent him a photo. She showed me and I sent him a photo and went, how did you get this photo of my boobs? It's like,
oh my God.
Oh my God. You're the best auntie ever and also the worst.
The worst. The
Oh,
absolute
that's
worst.
fantastic. Oh my God. So are you having much contact with your nieces and nephews? Like how are you managing the whole sort of, isolation thing?
My dad is getting dementia now, and so I'm just really glad that I'm in Melbourne and they're all up in Sydney, because my brother and his kids are all kind of dealing with my dad, who has to be told every day what's going on, and he won't believe it, and he won't believe that cafes are being shut down, like that they're not open, so they get into these huge. My niece has just actually moved in with him, which I'm like so impressed with. She's 23 and she's of this age where she could just be, and she has been living this amazing life, single life, and partying on with her girlfriends, and she's just like, well, I'll move in with him. I think it's really important because we don't know whether to move him into a home yet or anything. She's the eldest, and then I've got my nephew who's I think 21, and then the youngest nephew is like 13, and so I try to keep in touch with them as much as possible, but now they're all on the social media, so it's just so easy. We just talk to each other all the time, and send each other really funny things. And we have a group chat that the family we talk about. But my dad, I feel like, if things get really bad here, I'm going to have to move home. If I can't get any work and I can't pay rent, I'm going to have to pack up and move back to Sydney. And I said to Dad, I might have to move back in with you. And he was just like, after, my dad's dementia is at that point where you're having a conversation and you start the sentence, the story. And by the time you get to the end of the story, he's completely forgotten the beginning. So you have to start it again. And he's just asking the same questions over and over again. So he doesn't know. He doesn't know that I'm on TV or on the radio or anything like that. Like I tell him to tune in or to watch something, he completely forgets that it's there, or he'll see me and he just gets really confused. Like, why is the possum on the? Why I don't understand, kind of thing. Oh, when did this happen, kind of thing. So I think I might have to start to reassess the whole living situation here anyway, because
that's part of the issue, isn't it? I mean, looking at just in my own circle of friends and family and whatever, in this sort of isolation, it's like we're having sort of layers of realization. So you kind of go, it's really hard to not be able to go to work. It's really hard to face your loss of income. It's really hard to, what do I do with the kids? Even walking the dogs. I'm like, I've got a Labradoodle, one of our dogs. If he doesn't get like run and run and run every day, like he is a nightmare. Absolutely run. But then you've got that next layer of, but what if someone I love gets sick or they've got dementia or they start to, and I'm bloody seeing it already, start to break down mentally and I can't just go over there, and give them a hug or whatever. Like it's full on.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. My brother has really taken on my father's care, and I was very upfront with him about like the difference between my parents. I really had a dreadful upbringing with my father, so I held a lot of resentment towards him. And my mother died only 3 years ago, and I was there the entire time through her sickness and death, because my brother and my father couldn't deal with it. They just couldn't. They went that man cave kind of. I can't. This is not happening. I don't want to. And then I was the only one there when she died. I know that my brother has this dreadful guilt from that, and I've said to him, I did, Mum. He's all yours. Like he really is, because I don't want to resent him anymore. Yeah. Because I will look after him. I will do everything I absolutely can because I love him. He's my dad, but I don't want to. I don't want to do both parents when there's two of us, and you can do one and I can do the other. So I kind of guilt him.
I don't know. Going back to the self-awareness stuff, you've also, which is where we sort of started the chat really, you've got to recognize your own limitations. Like you do have different relationships with people. Like I can tell you, so I've been in a carer role for a while now. It's a completely different thing. Like people talk about being the sacrifices that are involved in being a carer, and there are many.
Who are you caring for?
My eldest daughter is not well.
Right. Yeah.
And she's not been well for nearly 4 years. So about the end of last year, I basically had been trying to juggle everything as many people do. And the end of last year just went, the radio, the TV, the gigs, the whatever, all gone. So just sort of made that call. But I know I don't find it hard to care for her, but I can tell you that there's other people in my family that I couldn't do it for. And, there's I'm okay with that, to just kind of go, don't have that relationship with everybody. And if you've got that history with your dad, and it doesn't have to be hateful or spiteful or anything, you just know you can't do it. I think that's okay.
Yeah. And that's why I'm being really upfront and honest, because I think if I have to go into a major carer role for him, a primary carer role for him, I won't cope. I won't cope mentally. I won't cope emotionally. It'll trigger too many things. And, I just don't want to be that carer and then have to deal with all of that shit, But I think there's so much guilt there, but at the same time, I'm, I think, evolved enough to know that you have to set up boundaries, and it's really important that you do that for yourself. I've just come out of a caring role with Tom of 8 years of being his primary carer, and it's fucking hard work. I absolutely loved every second of it, but it's really full-on work, and I think it's something that happens to everyone at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
For a week, or I know it's
And the pre-existing relationship is really important, I think. It's not just as simple as going, one carer is the same as the next carer is the next carer. It's not. It depends. If you have a profound, like a friend of mine's mum who had dementia, she had Alzheimer's, and they had a very fractious relationship when she was younger, and it had never really been dealt with, and it had never really been mended. And she said the hardest thing for her was that her mum sort of went back to being very, verbally abusive. So she had stopped that. But once her sort of, executive functioning was declining, she reverted back to it. So it's like my friend is, 15 again or 20 again or 10 again, being called, you filthy slut, and, other sort of awful things that her mum had stopped doing but started again when the dementia came. I was like, wow. So it's like, if you had a great relationship and your mum started doing that, you could just recognize it as dementia.
Yeah, but you could compartmentalize it, but it's still your mum.
Yeah.
When my grandmother, because she had dementia, died of dementia, and she went back to 27. And when she was 27, she had just come out of a concentration camp, and she was French. And so she went back to only speaking French and Polish. And it was,
oh my God,
it was weird. Every time we'd enter the room, she was seeing us like, oh, hello, all in French, saying, Polish, aren't you beautiful? Wow, your skin is so nice. And who are you? And we were just like, because she became a really crabby old immigrant in the end, like that really fearful Pauline Hanson believing, the yellow people are taking over and then the Arabs are taking over next. And she became so frightened that when she got dementia, she reverted. She went back to that beautiful immigrant who was about to immigrate, who had been through 5 years of the worst war and come out of it and had 2 children. So she was at this age of resilience and positivity. And it was amazing to watch that, to all of a sudden be there. So I'm so glad, because I think my dad's going to go, he's going to go mean.
Oh,
he's already showing the signs of it. So I'm like, I don't want to see that, because he became a real softie in his old age. I think the grandkids really softened him. Like, he was an awful father, but God, the best grandfather. And I would stand there and go to my mum and dad, why are you going to treat me like this? I would look at the kids and hate them, like really resent these children, getting all this stuff that I was like, could never get that when I was, so I had to deal with that myself.
What's really confronting? What's really confronting about watching that, I think, is that you finally realise, you go, oh, so they actually do know how to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful. Did you watch The Good Place, that TV show,
Yes.
The Good Place? There was that towards the end. It's not a spoiler, but yeah, there was a moment where the lead character, who was so great, what was her name? And she had this moment where her mum, who was a terrible mum to her, went on and had another family with other children. And she said, suddenly had this moment where she said, oh, so it's not that she couldn't be a better mum, it's that she just didn't bother for me.
Yeah.
Oh, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like a
watching
lot of
Josh
kids who
Thomas's
find out.
latest show now. Josh Thomas's show, which is called Everything's Going to Be All Right.
Yeah.
And that starts from the premise that his dad basically abandoned him and his mum, and he got a family and 2 new kids that he was fathering to. And like the complexity of that, and going, well, they're my sisters. Like, of course, I want to have a great dad.
It's a great premise.
It's a really good premise. But also, they're that pain of going, oh, but you chose, why didn't you do that for me?
I know.
My best friend growing up, my oldest friend, she comes from a single mum and never knew her father, and in her, I think, early 40s, met him and her 4 siblings who were brought up in this ideal family life.
Oh, shit.
Just this, perfect life. All these 4 siblings who look identical to her. And mum, dad still together, really happy. And he left when she was a baby. And the mother never remarried or anything. So he went on and, had this wonderful life. And she's just got to deal with that. You just got to deal with it.
Steve Jobs did the same. Remember Steve Jobs' first daughter? Yeah. She wrote a great book about it. She and her mum were penniless for a lot of her life, even though they knew exactly who their dad was, but very complex relationship. Yeah.
Well, John Lennon.
Yes.
Julian Lennon. So much resentment there for.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Oko's
Cynthia.
son?
Yeah. So Cynthia was his mum, and then Yoko Ono and Sean. Yeah. And Cynthia tells that great story where just when they started to get into the Maharishi in India, and she tells this great story where they were all running along this train platform in India to get on this train to go and see the Maharishi, and she somehow got left behind, and John was yelling, "Run, Cynthia, run!" And she just kind of couldn't keep up, and the train left. And she said it was such a metaphor for for her being she just couldn't keep up. Yeah.
Well, and that, I mean, fuck those girls. I'm reaching, but we are veering wildly off topic.
I know, but also I'm running out of bandwidth. I hate to tell you both, but I have lost you twice.
Yes.
We lost you once.
We rolled on.
Okay.
Say, and I think this is true in the love in the time of Corona. That we are having, as one of our other guests have said, and I've seen elsewhere as well, there's a big fat mirror being held up, not only to who we are as people, but our relationships. It doesn't matter whether it's with a romantic partner, with your children, with your in-laws, with your cousins, with your nephew, and then our broader relationships with politicians, with media people, with whoever. Like, it's such a giant mirror, and some of it is not very nice. No. We spend a lot of time trying to avoid, like you and I, sucking on some carnation milk. We spend a lot of time trying to avoid that reality.
Carnation milk.
Carnation milk. I reckon that's part of the reason we're so stressed, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Our avoidance techniques are being taken away from us.
Yes,
absolutely.
We're avoidance, aren't we? We've perfected it.
Oh, I could do it for Australia.
Yeah, I think as a whole, the world, we're going to reset, and I think this happens over time. I hope so. My friends and I just did a Zoom
in a good way.
Drinks, yeah. Like, we lose, the Spanish flu, the smallpox, the Black Death, was it? That just how it resets. You start, and then things go wrong again because we forget. I remember going to Auschwitz and doing that tour, and I was on a Kentucky tour. I was 21, and when you're on a Kentucky tour, it's just drinking and having a good time.
Hang on, back up. You went on a continued tour to Auschwitz.
I'm sure it was just a day side trip.
It was
just a
just
side
part
trip.
of it. It wasn't the
Yeah.
entire 3 weeks
No.
hanging out in a
No.
gas chamber.
It's a side trip, mate. I get you, babe.
That was really badly said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I did the European.
It was 30. It was 30 countries in 30 days. I get it.
And you, the Germany part, you end up. I think actually it wasn't Auschwitz. It was Dachau or something. It was like very similar. It was a concentration.
I know the one.
It was a day
Yes.
trip. But the tour manager said to us,
I know. Yeah.
every part of the tour on Kentucky is optional.
Yeah.
And so if you don't want to go that day, you don't go. You can stay in bed and have a hangover or whatever. And, sometimes you did that.
Finger a chick from Perth. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We can
Get off with the driver while he's trying to have a rest.
Yeah.
But the tour manager said this part, the tour through the concentration camp, is the only part of every tour that is mandatory. You have to do it. He said, we make you all do it. And I was saying to him, why? Why do you, like, my grandparents were in a concentration camp. Why, if I said I really can't do this, would you not allow it? And he said, no, we don't, because we honestly believe the more people that see this, the less chance we have of it ever happening again. And I think there's something, it's so poignant, because we, as humanity, we go through these awful times and then we forget. We become really happy and bored.
Yeah.
And life is just awful because it's just, nothing. And then we don't have any, we don't have anything attacking us. So we start to attack ourselves. And
I don't think it's a coincidence that it's like the generation from the Second World War is dying out and we've just suddenly gone crackers, right? And thinking about war again all the time and war with Iran and absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a good time. We're going to reset. That's the word I keep thinking while I'm going through this is a massive reset.
I really hope you're right. And I definitely think it's possible. And I mean, even just for me personally, but I think a lot of people that we've been talking to, and you said like things that we have been taking for granted, we are, starting to realize like how wonderful is a hot shower.
Yeah. Well, toilet paper. How wonderful is toilet paper? Remember when we used to blow our noses on toilet paper like we were millionaires?
And you just let it go for ages. And it took me about 3 days of isolation to start going, there's going to be the biggest hugs. That's because I'm very... I love to hug my friends. But just that without the personal touch, the human touch, that's going to really start to affect us. And then there's going to be like mass group huggings. But I also think, just for me personally, I've never wanted to work more in my life. So can you imagine after just 3 months?
Yeah.
How grateful we will all be to have a job.
I have literally, it sounds like a joke, but I have literally in my entire life never wanted to exercise. And now I'm like, I really want to try running. I'm not going to. But because someone is saying, don't go outside and go to the gym and do all the rest of it. Like, that's
it's like being sick, isn't it?
But I want to.
Yeah, well, it's the same as being sick. You're just like, I will never take my health for granted again. I mean, you do, and you start, eating hot dogs again, but it's like, I'm just going to eat the healthiest food.
I'm fine. Carb it up.
I want to go out for dinner. I want to go out for dinner with friends and drink wine and have a beautiful meal. And
beer garden. I love to take the dogs. I know all the pubs that can take dogs. And I always get anyone. So, I mean, that's the first thing I'm going to do with you girls as soon as we are allowed to.
Yes.
Absolutely, please. And before we run out of bandwidth, because I really promised that we would do this and we haven't done it at all, you are my Caesar Milan. And I want to know from you.
Yvie. You.
Good.
You, Yvie,
that's pretty heavy. That's a big
That's
call.
a big call. It's a big lucky you had your teeth done 15 years ago.
They're called cum submissive teeth.
I want to know how important pets are going to be for you during this period, but also how we need to take care of them, not them just taking care of us.
Well, I think, I'm a massive advocate for pets for mental health. And I think my pets have kept me alive during times of depression. I think that I've already just shared so many things on social media in the last 2 weeks of people saying, contact your local rescue, get yourself a kitten, get yourself a cat, get yourself a bunny rabbit, anything like this. I think Lord Smith or they're shutting down because one person gets COVID and then no one can go to work, so all these dogs are being left in there and just getting fed once a day. I'm like, get yourself your new best friend.
And how many, what are you packing at the moment?
I've got the big sis who's asleep over there. I'll bring up Beverly. I've just got big sis and little Beverly at the moment because I've fostered so many in my time.
Hello, is that big sis?
No,
hello,
this is Beverly.
That's Beverly.
Hi,
Beverly.
Sis.
Hi, Beverly.
Hi,
sweetheart. I can't see no nasturtiums, Beverly, but would I be right, Yvie, to say that Beverly has the breath of death?
She doesn't. Because I got her teeth cleaned.
She's got her teeth cleaned, babe.
I got her old.
I got her
at 13.
Give me.
She had
I know, you're so fucking rude, for real. I mean, fancy saying that to Beverly. She's right there.
She can't hear, so don't worry. She's definitely close. But I call it Bob, breath of bum. And she came with Bob. And I think how many teeth did we have? About 14 teeth removed. She only got her at 13, and she had this massive growth here that I called Lorraine. I said that they were twins, and Lorraine didn't make it, but she hung on. She was
her conjoined twin.
Because when I got Beverly, her name was Tinkerbell. Huh?
You adopted a senior.
Yeah, I love.
Which is the other thing for people listening, because it is really hard to get a rescue dog that is under 3. And to be honest, like our little Ralphie, who looks a lot like Bev but in poodle form and has like the most diabolical breath. It doesn't matter how much I scrape that kid's fucking teeth. It's just it could knock you out. But they told us he was 3, and then of course when we went to the vet, she's like, "This guy's not 3. No. Like he's probably 7." But 3.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
People want younger dogs. I don't know why. I don't know why
Beverly,
you want a younger dog.
If you're inexperienced with dogs, if you're sitting at home watching us now, God knows if anyone's still with us. But
they are.
Nothing else to do. What, go to work?
Well, that's true. And you haven't got a dog or you've never had one, don't get a puppy. They will fuck shit up. Get a senior.
Yep.
And they don't need much work. They just need
all day long. Yep, all day long. They might need a bit of medication if they come with that. They are the most grateful
They are.
But I find rescues on a whole the most grateful.
Absolutely.
There's nothing like a rescue dog. It's my favorite breed. It doesn't matter what type of dog they are. If they're rescued, they look at you like you are the second coming. Like it is it's so beautiful, the unconditional adoration that you get from them. But she came when I got her. Her name was Tinkerbell, and I was like, there is no fucking way a Tinkerbell's going to be in my house.
Oh, that's a shit name.
And I thought if she was, because every dog I get, if I have to rename them, I have to give them a human name. Yeah. So I'm like, what kind of human would she be? And I thought she's old and she was very feisty, but really charming, like really funny, and like she'll make you laugh. And she has this really funny little smile. So I thought, you know what? She's like that 70-year-old woman down at the pub that plays the pokies, like in the 70s, the ones that you pull and smokes the whole time, talks like that, and says, in the divorce, I got the house, and I'll spend my fucking money however I want to.
And do you know what? I reckon she worked for local council in the planning department.
Yeah, for 50 years she did. And
Beverly.
She's taken that retirement package.
Yeah. I can't stand this. I'm going to get Ralph. Can you talk amongst yourselves?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Where's your dog, Michelle?
Well, Jacko came.
Red healer.
Big Jack. Yeah, Big Jack came in here a minute ago, but he's put himself to bed. He buys because it's 7:30 and that's his. Like, he likes to be in bed. He buys. So he's gone to bed and he's taken his little brother Bowie with him. Oh my God, I love her so much. My mum's got
wait
it.
till you meet her. She is so delightful, and she's the friendliest little fucker. Like, she just loves to be held, and like, but she's become really incontinent, so she's wearing nappies at night.
Does she? Yeah, we had an incontinent. We had an incontinent dog. We just mopped up after him. Jackie's dog Pepper says hi. Hello, Jackie, my sweetheart.
Hi,
I love
Pepper.
you. Hello, and hello,
I was
Pepper.
gonna say, Ralphie's too dark. You can't see him, but
Ralphie.
there he is. Finally, we got some.
Oh,
light.
she's found a light now. She's found a light that she wants us to see Ralphie.
He's got a little white beard.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
beautiful.
You think this kid's 3? Look at him. Come on.
Yeah, no.
Jack,
way.
Jacko, come here, Bubba. Come here, Jack. Let me see if
Bring
Jack will
him
come out
on.
of bed. He's
Has
in bed. He
Beverly
might not.
had her anal glands milked? Because Ralph couldn't talk her through that.
Here he is. Here's Big
If you
Jack. I
haven't
thought,
even done, Nelly,
Jack,
I love
say hi.
squeezing
There's
it.
Big Jack. Big Jack. Thank you, Jack. And there's little Bowie, idiot.
Oh,
And there's the
Bowie.
kittens.
Oh,
Look at the kittens.
Okay.
This is the best.
Okay,
I'm
there's
going
the
to take you
kittens.
down the ground now.
All right.
Hang on. Ralph's
you,
stuck
Jack.
inside on top.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you,
Sorry.
Jack.
Are
Thank
you,
you.
are you ready for the biggest, the most beautiful woman you've ever met?
Yes. Yes.
Here we
Thank
go.
you, Jack. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm sorry to
Oh
wake
my
you.
God.
Oh,
This is
Jack.
the big sissy.
Look at this one, Jack.
This is big sis, and she's a whole lot of woman.
Look,
But
look at
and
this
Sissy,
lady.
that's
Look
your
at this lady.
hot dog.
Look, Jack. Look at this lady.
She's
No,
still snoring. Oh, Jack. You know, Michelle, my
Oh.
parents had a blue healer called Angus. We called him Mighty Angus. He lived till 16. And when he died, my mum rang me the day he had to be put down, and she said, "This one's done me in. Like, this is the worst one. I can't." She said, "I don't ever want to have another pet after that." They did, but
yes, of course.
it's amazing how. Oh, hi.
Mum was the same after I left them with a Kelpie called Troy, and she was the same when Troy died. But then I found a little dog called Evan at the Brisbane RSPCA, Evan, and he's still down at Mum's place. And I've got photos of Evan on the floor with my kids as newborns, and he's still rocking down there now.
By Mum's place, you mean your backyard?
Hi. Yeah, I
Where are
do,
your
yeah.
parents?
Well, my dad died a year ago, but Mum's in the backyard in the granny flat. And
Did your dad die? I didn't
he
know that.
did.
I'm so
Pop
sorry.
died. Yeah,
I
I think.
remember your dad in your stories.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pop
I'm
died.
so sorry. Oh.
Yeah, but now I think, well, fucking lucky him, to be honest. But but he would have he would have loved coronavirus. Like, he would have loved the interest. You know, he would have
The
just
drama
been saying,
of it all. Yeah.
He would have loved the drama so much. He
Yeah.
would have been saying to me every day, "It's unreal, isn't it?" That would have been his favorite. It's unreal. It's unreal, isn't it?
Real. I can't believe it.
It's
Oh,
unreal.
yeah. I think the fascination of all of it is quite it's all we're talking about. And
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Did you ever hear that saying? Will Ferrell said, if you want to know what someone you're about to marry is really like, turn the Wi-Fi off in your house
Yes.
and watch how they react to it. I think this is a great way of getting to know if you want to marry someone. Like, just be in isolation with them.
I mean, if that's the truth, nobody wants to marry me. Because if the Wi-Fi goes, I swear to God, I'm going Mad Max up in this bitch. I am out. I swear to
Can
God.
you imagine the divorce rate going to happen?
Yeah. Well, everyone
Yeah.
keeps going, there's going to be babies made. And I'm like, yeah, but they're going to be babies made from boredom. And there's certainly not going to be any accident babies. Like
No
Tinder
happy
or
babies.
anything.
You know,
They're
the
gonna
divorce
do
rate. The divorce rate's gone up in China. That's a thing.
Has it?
Has
Yeah,
it?
yep.
Already?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes. Hey, look, I'm calling it. 'cause
They're
I
not
feel
allowed
like
to actually have
you're
a divorce,
not.
but it's gone up.
Yeah, that's
Gone up
right.
already.
Doing it all along.
Can we have some last words of wisdom from beautiful Yvie about?
Please, Yvie, and let's meet up again, Yvie. Let's meet up in this format again because you are heaven.
Oh, thank you. This has just been the best fun. The best.
You know what? The whole premise of this is literally Michelle and I going, we're going nuts.
Yeah.
And lots of the people who've, even listened to our first few have gone, like, what they actually love is us laughing and being stupid and making pop jokes.
Yeah.
So, which neither of us are known for. But, you know, it's a new thing. And you're part of that, darling.
Thank you. I'm loving being a part of it.
What do you think? What do we do?
Well, I just think I can't believe how fun Instagram has become.
Great.
Oh, sure.
Everyone's
good.
I need to.
Everyone's going live. Everyone's posting things like they've never done before. They've never had time.
Great.
So
yes.
all this really great content on there. It's like,
right.
I mean, I obviously have tripled my usage, but I haven't just tripled it because I'm being bored. It's because of the amount of things I'm watching. And I'm finding that humor, it really does get people. Humanity gets through anything as long as there's humor. And this is the best example of that, I think. Every day I'm finding the funniest things.
I also love that you haven't just gone with one of those fucking motivational quotes like, oh, you know, you'll learn something. Like, I don't want to learn anything. But
I mean, learn a new way to masturbate, maybe.
Yeah, right.
But I love that you've given me a practical thing to do because, as I said, I did sign up to Instagram. It's probably about a month ago, but I'm too, irritated and frazzled to learn how to use it. So my friend Emily does it for me, so I don't even know, how to look on it.
You have got plenty of time to learn.
All
right.
Thank
you. Plenty.
Can I also say today on 10 Play, they've just released 6 episodes of Australian Drunk History, and I'm in 2 of them.
Yes, great.
They were supposed to be airing until September. They've brought them forward. They're not airing them, but they are.
Drunk History?
It's where comedians get really drunk and they tell an historical event.
I love Drunk History. I love Drunk History. I love Jen Fricker on Drunk History. I didn't realise they'd made an Australian series. I didn't realise you were in it. Harley Breen just messaged about that, but I didn't realise you were in it, Yvie. Awesome.
He was in the first episode.
Great.
2 per episode. And
hilarious.
Anne Edmonds and Harley Breen are in the first episode. And I'm in the Anne Edmonds one about Dame Nellie Melba.
And
the
great.
second one is Nikki Osborne.
Right.
So it's all drunk comedians. It's
right.
And all these actors and whatevers. Like, I'm not an actor, but all these people reenacting.
Well, awesome.
The story that the drunk person is telling. And
mate, I love the American version so much and the British version.
Never heard of it. I'm getting on it.
You'll love it.
There is something, and the best part about all of this, I keep saying on Instagram today, is how much talent do we have in this country? We don't need to see anything. I mean, of course we do, and it's wonderful, but we've got
not enough. You're right.
Right here.
You're right. Not enough.
It was the best fun filming. Like, it was such long shoots and everything, but I was like, God, this is so much fun.
So fun.
Brilliant.
Cool.
So, get onto that.
Thrilled. I'm doing it, and I reckon we'll report back
while you're watching it.
Drink. You're so right. Get drunk while you're watching it. You're so right.
You do not need to encourage me to do that, darling Yvie. You really don't.
Thank you so much for having me on.
I love you, baby. Thank you.
Love you so much. And can I do a completely unprofessional thing, but there's absolutely no rules anymore? And that is that my beautiful friend Antonella, who works for Oxfam and is one of those people that, does the unsung heroes who are doing this amazing work and gets no credit for anything. And her and her beautiful wife, Deli, got married last year, and it was one of the best days of my life. She is, when I say obsessed with you, it's borderline concerning.
No, there's nothing concerning about that.
So can you please, I know that she's watching and has had a shit for a week, can you just say hello to Antonella, please?
Antonella, hello, you beautiful, beautiful human. You've got the best taste in the world. So nothing weird about it at all, as far as I'm concerned. I just had a kid this morning send me a DM on Instagram and said, "You're my hero. I just had to do an assignment at school about my hero, and you were it."
Oh, well, I've told you this before on socials. My girls absolutely love you, and I'm not kidding. Absolutely love you.
I'm just so spewing. My mum has gone. She would be so chuffed at all of this. My mother was my biggest champion, and she was always like, if only people could see what I see. And I just
baby.
You know what? Honestly, when my mum died, that's when all this started happening for me. And I saw a psychic last year who said to me, "Your mum's here." And I went, "Yeah." And she said, "She's telling me that, you know, all these things that keep happening to you, every job that you get and blah, blah, blah. She said she's saying she's kicking the doors down that she never knew how to do when she was here. So she's making it all happen because she said she's seeing it all and she's so proud of you. And I was like, oh, my God. Yeah, that's all I needed to know, because every day I'd wake up, every time I'd get something that, you know, you text your best friend or your dad, you know, whoever, and say, you're not going to believe what I just got. You just go, I just want to call my mum and tell her. And she said to say, your mum said she knows. She's making it all happen. Oh.
Well, my kids aren't your mum, but I can tell, like, we sit there and we watch you on I'm a Celebrity, and we watch you on Gogglebox, and, you know, we follow all the things that you do. And I genuinely, and I say this hand on heart, I love that they have a role model like you. You know, when we go back to the whole kind of, you know, the cookie cutter idea of who's supposed to be on TV, and not only not look like you, they don't talk like you, they're not as honest as you. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And you should be so proud of yourself.
Take care of yourself, my darling. Take care of yourself and make sure you love yourself like we do, okay?
Oh, thank you. You girls, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, see you soon, darling. Bye. Bye.
Now I don't know what to do.